Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another cast from the Raidcall Dota 2 League. My name is Bebon, and it seems I forgot to turn off open mic, but it doesn't matter because this is a replay cast of the Raidcall Dota 2 League Season 3, a best of 3 series between Virtus.Pro and Alliance, and I have heard that this has some pretty interesting games, so hopefully I'll be able to get them out to you ASAP. And yes, I am working on some other first impressions videos, so those will be out relatively soon. But for now, VP versus Alliance. Alliance still probably the strongest team in the West after the recent victory in DreamHack Winter, and still looking very, very confident going into the upcoming months before TI3. Yeah, VP hitting a little bit of a sort of rough patch recently. Just got 2-0'd by EG in their past series. We'll see if they can recover, as they definitely have the talent, but I don't know if they're necessarily bootcamping as hard as other teams for TI3, because I have read in an interview they're only going to bootcamp for around 2 weeks before TI3 does occur. So we'll have to see if they can sort of turn things around and get some momentum needed before they start heading into their bootcamp and start experimenting with some strategies. VP opening up with the Lone Druid ban. Again, this ban makes a lot of sense, especially when you're playing against the likes of Admiral Bulldog. Alliance going to get rid of the Gyrocopter with their opening ban, so look for Wisp as well as Barret to be one of those heroes will likely be banned by VP. Alliance probably going to get rid of one of the heroes like a Treant Protector. So if Alliance do get rid of the Treant Protector, VP might just leave both Wisp and Barret in the pool and try to get one of them for themselves. If not, then I don't know what the bans will be. Maybe, I don't know, Alliance doesn't usually pick Treant to my best knowledge. But Alliance is going to take a bit of their time trying to decide what they should do. They're going to get rid of the Barret here, so VP have the option of getting rid of Tree or Wisp. And because Alliance don't really like playing Tree, but I don't know if VP necessarily like playing Tree either, because they're a very aggressive Tree team in general. So I'm not too sure what VP will do here. I imagine they're going to ban out the Wisp just because Alliance's Wisp is quite powerful. EGM does play a very, very solid Wisp and definitely cannot be underestimated. And in general, the Western scene just really does not like playing against Wisp, so Wisp is the more common ban, but Tree has been the flavor of the past week and probably going to be the flavor of the month heading into TI3, so we're going to have to see if VP are going to ban either one of those heroes or if they're just going to leave both in the pool hoping to get one of them for themselves. You can see VP definitely having a lot of problems here, and even if they leave both heroes left in the pool, then Alliance will have one of their offlaners opened up to them. They can pick up Nature's Prophet for Bulldog, they can get Darkseer for Bulldog, and a team like Alliance likes to secure the offlaner in their opening 2 picks just because, I mean, Bulldog is of course a very, very strong player on a variety of different heroes, but he really thrives on Lone Druid as well as Nature's Prophet, so that's probably why VP are taking so damn long to think about what they want to actually get rid of in this next ban. Trying to debate, alright, should we get rid of Nature's Prophet? Instead, they're going to get rid of Keeper of the Light. Interesting decision. Alliance have been trending towards that Keeper of the Light pick recently, and Keeper of the Light I still think is really, really stupid of a hero, but they're going to get rid of it in this game, and Alliance is going to secure themselves a Wisp with their opening choice. And we're going to have to see if VP responds. Will they try to secure themselves Chaos Knight even though they don't have the Wisp to deny it from Alliance, or will they just hope that Alliance does not pick it out and then ban it in the second ban phase? I'm not too sure, but usually Alliance does like to pick up their offlaner in the opening 2 choices, so Virtus.Pro going to secure themselves a Treant Protector as an immediate response, so I guess they have no shame either. And meanwhile, VP, we're going to have to see what they decide to choose as well for their second hero. Will they get themselves Chaos Knight or will they decide to ban out? They're going to get the Weaver, so they're going to get that annoying Treant Protector Weaver combination. Meanwhile, Alliance will secure themselves the Chaos Knight rather than risk getting it banned out in the second phase of bans. But Weaver is the choice. Look for Alliance to ban out OD, without a doubt, because OD with Living Armor, as you all know, is incredibly annoying. One of the most annoying things to deal with in the game. Almost annoying as, well, slightly a bit more annoying than Weaver Treant Protector, which is still quite annoying. I mean, Weaver, again, is a hero who likes to focus on survivability and damage because his skill set is so powerful. But he does need some items to build up, but with Treant Protector, he can play so much more aggressive in the early stages of the game, and Weaver does do a significant amount of damage in the early stages of the game just because Shikuchi does do a lot more, and the physical attacks, the Gemini attack, do hurt quite a bit in the low armor values, especially for a hero like Wisp who has no armor at level 1. So VP gonna get rid of the Darkseer, recognizing that Alliance do not currently have an offlaner. Look for them to ban out the Nature's Prophet as well. And Alliance actually going to get rid of the Bane, so I guess they aren't going to ban out the OD just yet. Maybe they feel confident against an OD pick with the Treant Protector. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe OD against Wisp Chaos Knight is not that good, even against the likes of Chaos Knight and Wisp, just because those heroes have such great synergy. Of course, Reality Rift into Tether Stun is one of the more annoying things to deal with when you're laning in Dota, and it just gives Chaos Knight everything you could possibly want in a best friend. So VP gonna indeed ban out all the strong offlaner choices for Admiral Bulldog, but I think this is okay for Alliance since this does help to open up a Bounty Hunter pick, and Bounty Hunter, even though he has phased out recently, is quite powerful in conjunction with Chaos Knight, which is because that combination is so aggressive and can provide so many openings for early game aggressive behavior. So Alliance, I think they're okay with all these offlane heroes being banned out because I think they're going to try to get their eyes on the Bounty Hunter. Sure, they might not have any AoE, but their ganking potential will be unrivaled. And Alliance indeed did ban out the Outworld Devourer, the OD, just saying, alright, we may be able to gank it, but why bother when there's a living armored treant on his side? Let's just make S4's life a little bit easier. And of course, the thing you know about Chaos Knight Wisp is that it can be laned in a multitude of different ways. It can be laned as an aggressive Trine if the VP's Trine is currently pretty weak, and keep in mind, living armor is not that strong at level 1. It gets a lot stronger once you hit level 3, level 5, and level 7 to get those max levels online. VP gonna get the Kunkka. Interesting decision, so I guess they just want to be able to X the heroes in place since Alliance have picked up some very mobile heroes with their opening people, and they want to get the boat damage reduction online. I don't really see any other ways why Kunkka would have been chosen for this particular pick, especially picked up in such high priority when there's a lot of strong heroes left in the pool.
Queen of Pain.
But Alliance gonna get themselves the Queen of Pain, and Kunkka with living armor. I mean, Kunkka can fare reasonably well with against ranged heroes just on the strength of Tidebringer, especially once he gets more and more levels. But Kunkka with living armor will definitely not need as much regeneration. And Kunkka's a hero who doesn't really spend that much mana unless he just spams Torrent in the laning phase. So living armor might just be able to give all the regeneration Kunkka could possibly need, and might allow him to contend with the Queen of Pain, although in the early levels, again, Queen of Pain should have a significant advantage. Although I expect Virtus.Pro to get Kunkka a stout shield, and then just start living him armor up as soon as the game begins. But yeah, back to the Chaos Knight Wisp combination. It's such a versatile combination because it can be laned in a multitude of different ways. It can be laned as an aggressive Trine, and it might behoove Alliance to do just that, although I think Alliance do prefer going defensive Trines with their Wisp and just try to get some safe experience, because if Wisp does not get any experience, if the aggressive Trine for whatever reason does not work out, then Wisp will be pretty far behind. And yeah, Wisp can do a lot when he's behind, but he really wants to be ahead, and when a Wisp team does get the advantage, then they will just seize it and take advantage of that to the best of their ability, because Wisp is such a strong hero in an offensive situation. You know, VP taking quite a bit of time. They have their mid-solo Kunkka. They're going to get themselves a Vengeful Spirit, a hero that VP have had their eyes on recently, more and more as support for ars-art. They like the fact that Vengeful Spirit did get that strength buff, so she's actually relatively tanky. And yes, I did call it. Look at that Bounty Hunter pick. I mean, it does synergize very well with Queen of Pain, Chaos Knight, and Wisp, because all of those heroes play very aggressively and have a lot of ganking potential, so the Bounty Hunter just makes a ton of sense. You have the potential to get a lot of try kills, and I mean, a Treant Trine won't really be able to ever kill the Bounty Hunter, so Bounty Hunter was pretty obvious, at least for me. VP gonna get rid of some jungler heroes. Alliance, they want to win the game ASAP. I mean, yeah, they have some late game potential with the 3 heroes, but they want to get off to a good start. Meanwhile, VP have some more stable late game presence in the form of Kunkka and Weaver, and VP, our Vengeful Spirit does scale pretty well these days because swap range gets bigger, Vengeance Sword is pretty powerful, and of course that increased strength growth means she can survive in a lot of circumstances where she wouldn't have been able to survive a couple patches ago. So I don't know how VP are going to lane this. They might go... No, I think this is going to be a defensive Trine of Vengeful Spirit, Treant Protector, and Weaver. Vengeful Spirit could potentially dual lane with the Kunkka, so VP right now need an offlaner unless they aggressively tri-lane themselves. And all the offlaners have been currently removed from the pool. So Alliance is going to get rid of the Lifestealers, saying, alright, we are going to make sure you really don't have an option in terms of aggressively tri-laning, because Weaver does want some experience, and just having him solo in a lane. I think this and Windrunner were pretty much the only options left for Beast. Unless they want to do an off lane Beastmaster. So Tidehunter is going to choose the VP, going to buff up their team fight potential. And, you know, that's all well and good, but where's the early game damage going to come from? It's not really the most reliable sources, but I mean, think about Living Armor and Weaver means that Weaver can just play so much more aggressive, and I guess that can make up for a large portion of the early game damage. Still, against Wisp, you want to have a lot of maneuverability, and the only mobile hero on the side of VP is Weaver. So once the relocate ganks come in, yeah, you have the Ravage to go in, but you can only use that once every 150 seconds. Mental Spirit, Kunkka will all likely be caught, even though Torrent and Boat can help to sort of delay the impact of Wisp as well as Chaos Knight, since you can target the area. And it's going to pick up the Chen with the last pick. Makes a lot of sense since Aki's Chen, as you all know, is ridiculously renowned for being a top Chen in general, and of course Ake in general is just a top support player and a top player in general. But picking up the Chen here, it's going to help amplify their aggressive maneuvers on the bottom lane. It does allow Wisp to just get some free experience as he's going to be dual laning as support in the defensive tri lane. And I mean, if push comes to shove, they can just push down Tidehunter's tower very early on. Yes, this will mean that Tidehunter will be able to pick up some free experience, but against any other dual lane, he'd probably pick up more experience than he otherwise would, just because Wisp Chaos Knight can just kill the Tidehunter if he takes a little bit too much harassment. But yeah, VP, all they need to do is hold on till that level 7, then it just becomes exponentially more difficult for the Tidehunter, or for Alliance to actually secure themselves kills, since they don't really have too many damage over time abilities. And Chaos Knight, you know, he does do a lot of damage, but he does attack relatively slowly.
Prepare for battle.
And keep in mind, Tether does not do any damage, so it won't actually break any ticks of the living armor. At least I think it doesn't do any damage. I never know with Tether. Well, spirits do damage, so that can actually drain through the living armor quite significantly if they are in place. But introducing the players and teams as VP actually are going to go on the offensive. Alliance S4 is playing the Queen of Pain, Ake is playing the Chen, Loda is playing the Chaos Knight, EGM is playing the Wisp, and Admiral Bulldog is going to be playing the Bounty Hunter in the offlane position. Meanwhile, inside of Virtus.Pro, they're going to have NS playing the Treant Protector, Illidan is playing the Weaver, KSI is playing the Tidehunter, Tame My Wild, aka Crazy is playing the Kunkka, and ars-art is playing the Vengeful Spirit. So Virtus.Pro actually gonna go on the offensive, and I think this is the right choice, since you know Wisp will be able to get a lot of experience in his lane, since there is a Chen in the jungle, and just mitigating the Wisp impact as early as possible is definitely a strong way to go about it. Meanwhile, Vengeful Spirit can potentially rotate in for some mid lane ganks if she finds an opening. And Tidehunter should do a reasonable job against Bounty Hunter in the top lane. The thing about VP's trial is that, I mean, Treant, Wisp, and Vengeful Spirit won't really be able to kill off the Bounty Hunter level 1, so Bounty Hunter would get way too much experience regardless of the situation. And Tidehunter himself really can't approach the dual lane of Wisp Chaos Knight without taking an unduly amount of punishment. So, I like that VP are going to switch up their lanes, going to put the aggressive child lane up, but immediately Alliance are going to respond by switching their lanes entirely and going to put the Chaos Knight Wisp in the middle lane, and that will allow Wisp to get a lot of safe experience. You can see S4 not rushing that fastball, instead getting a lot of regeneration so he can sustain himself in lane for as long as possible, because the bottle in the side lanes has just become a lot less effective because of the travel time the courier needs. Chaos Knight Wisp do have the potential to kill off Kunkka once they hit a sufficient enough level. I mean, they won't be able to do it immediately, but they will be able to do it nonetheless. And Wisp can pull the middle lane creeps by cutting down the trees with a tether, although it has become a lot more difficult. So, judging on the bottom lane, seems to be some early game aggression on the Queen of Pain, and you can see the living armor being applied to Weaver. Weaver just dives in with the Shikuchi, does a couple physical harassment attacks on the Queen of Pain, and then just scurries on out of there, and that will become more and more annoying, especially since Treant actually rotated himself top to do some creep pulls, and I like this a bit more because, I mean, Treant Protector, Weaver, Vengeful Spirit won't really be able to kill the Queen of Pain unless the Queen of Pain makes mistakes, so why not get some free experience for the Treant Protector, get that living armor level accelerated, and just leave Tidehunter to deal with Bounty Hunter by himself. So I'm liking all the decision making on lanes thus far by both teams. I know that sounds a bit corny and a bit, you know, non-threatening, but that's just how I feel about it. Just some smart play overall by both sides, as they definitely show that they want to win in this series. But seems like Illidan, like I mentioned, just taking a lot of harassment And you can see Living Armor at level 1 is, again, not that powerful of an ability. It's really, once it hits level 2 and level 3, that's when it becomes a true problem on the map. And you can see as a result, Illidan was first to burn through a lot of his regeneration. But since Vengeful Spirit is in his lane, she can likely give the Weaver enough regeneration to get him to a healthy amount of HP. The unfortunate thing for Virtus.Pro is that they were able to block off this big camp, and I guess they probably blocked off this, you know, the magic bush ward just in case the pulls are coming in, but they don't have any vision of Chen coming in from the rear should they be in a bit of trouble, and that means Vengeful Spirit will likely die when push comes to shove. And Living Armor was already applied, so Vengeful Spirit going to be in a lot of trouble. Going to take a Shadow Strike right to the chin. Vengeful Spirit going to drop the Howl of Terror onto Ake, so that Ake's armor is reduced, and Vengeful Spirit actually going to go back and try and get in range for a Magic Missile. And you can see the damage that Weaver is pumping out is just really, really powerful. So Ake, his first gank attempt was not that successful. But once S4 does clear it up, get himself to a better HP pool, this gank will probably be a bit more successful. And Ake just gonna do some creep pulls. Well, I guess he just decides to stack this camp and give the creep equilibrium a little bit more in favor of S4 once the pulls do come in. You know, Taimon has picked up the haste rune in the bottle, and you can see Taimon not really being harmed too much in terms of farm, but now he has to be very careful since Chaos Knight is level 4, and that means his damage output is a little bit annoying. So Taimon just going to use all his mana he possibly can so he can potentially use the haste rune when it feels necessary. And meanwhile, Bulldog being ushered out of the lane, Anchor Smash just makes Bounty Hunter's chances to last hit a lot more difficult. But again, all Bounty Hunter really needs is experience in this lane to try to get the track going. And once he gets the track online, then Alliance will play a lot more aggressively. The question is, will track come online before that level 3 Living Armor? It remains to be seen, because Living Armor is already at level 2, you know, Bounty Hunter only level 4. But Bounty Hunter is going to get a successful creep pull off. We'll see if Virtus.Pro can contend with it, as it seems like a foray was made on the middle lane, but haste rune as well as Living Armor going to preserve the life of the Kunkka, and actually he's going to go in and try and do a bit of harass into EGM. EGM, he's going to be in a bit of trouble, but should be okay as Chaos Knight going to bottle double damage rune, and seems like Virtus.Pro, they will be able to see this gank coming, and you can see Alliance is just going to immediately turn away, knowing that's a bit too risky, even if VP didn't have a ward there. I mean, yeah, we'd be ganking the Tide Hunter, but we'd be giving up a lot of experience towards the likes of Kunkka. But the double damage rune and the Chaos Knight Bolt gonna come in. Timwall just overextended a little bit too much. Living Armor got fully drained, and even though that was level 2 Living Armor, the Chaos Knight with combination gonna strike again, and this is why this is such a powerful combination. As the courier, one more hit would have been the end. Sorry, I'm getting more excited for a courier snipe than a potential first blood, but that would have just been some exceptionally poor micro if that courier actually did get picked off. But a solid engagement as a magic missile stun gonna be thrown to S4. Just a bit of harassment being doled out by ars-art, but he's gonna have to be a bit careful since S4 is gonna salve up, and now ars-art does not have too much mana. He is gonna clear it up as well, and the magic missile mana cost is going to increase since he is level 3 as that second point of magic missile, but it seems like he will get the magic missile online before Ake does make his way back into the lane to gank. But you can see thus far, everybody in the side alliance is farming as well as they could hope. Bounty Hunter has been able to pick up 22 CS since Trian is just creep pulling incessantly, and he is going to hit level 6 at the next creep wave, and that means track ganks will be coming in very soon, and look for Taimon to be in a lot of trouble. As, I don't know, Taimon is always given these disadvantageous mid lane matchups, so I always feel for him. But, I mean, such is the life of a mid laner oftentimes when you get some strong supports. As Torrent will come in, just clear out the creeps. And look for EGM to tether in relatively soon. EGM, looks like he's just going to wait for the courier to give him some extra bit of tankability in the form of the Iron, as well as that almost finished magic wand. Tree and Protector going to snipe the illusion, preventing Chaos Knight from securing himself that illusion, but Oda, it seems like, well, EGM had the ball regardless, but it seems like EGM just going to go back to Fountain anyway, and Loda will just continue to farm up. Not going to be too bothered. So right now, Lions are doing pretty well in the early game. You can see they're getting a lot of farm rolling, because the supports on the side of Virtus.Pro are obviously going to be under-farmed. Tree and Protector farming neutrals. Ours are not taking too much CS. Meanwhile, Chen can just jungle and just increase the level count. But again, VP, all they need to do is hold out. And then if Bounty Hunter can't get too many track ganks going, then he could be in a lot of trouble. But here comes the rotation. EGM gonna come in as KSI is taking a lot of damage. Living Armor is just now being applied. Will there be Elite Seed? It will be dropped on DGM. You can see KSI immediately rushing forward towards EGM so he can get the healing benefits, as True Protector was able to secure the last hit, and that is going to be a godsend for VP as they shut down the first track gank. They got Wisp out of the picture, delaying the level 6, and that means Chaos Knight won't really be able to threaten Timod as aggressively, but actually, as I say that, Timod will be driven away. He does have a full bottle, so it should be okay nonetheless. But KSI, I guess he used the Ravage, and I didn't even see it. I guess he tried to kill Bulldog off, but was not successful in doing that. Still, they managed to get a kill on Wisp, gonna recover nicely. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, the Chen gank did come through, and they're actually able to kill the Weaver. I kind of want to see how that happened. So it looks like Ake gonna come around. He doesn't have any, netting creeps. Oh, Illidan just gonna play a little bit too aggressive, gonna get the Living Armor popped on him, and actually gonna turn his attention back. Sonic Wave gonna be used, and Living Armor can't block everything. So, some misplay by Illidan gonna cost him quite a bit on that bottom lane, as S4 is just gonna get sent back home by Ake. And now Tamawad gonna be in a bit of trouble. Wisp gonna come in with the tether, gonna provide a bit of extra stun by Loda. Just too low into his HP. The torrent will come in. The boat gonna follow shortly after. Will Loda actually die? He's gonna dodge out of the way of the boat. Nicely done by Loda, but he's still in a little bit of danger. Wisp just frantically bottling up. Gonna heal Loda to a sufficient number of HP points. And now Tamawad gonna get ganked up. Bulldog gonna come in with the track, and Tamawad is definitely gonna die. Loda does pick up the last hit. It took way too many last hits to break through the Living Armor. Still a nice gank being won by Alliance in the middle lane. Nice maneuvers by Loda to dodge out of the way of the boat, since your first instinct, of course, is to run back. But he knew he has a Wisp on his side who can just regen up constantly by balling up and tethering up and just healing Loda despite him being damaged. So good awareness by Alliance is going to allow them to turn around that almost botched gank and was able to come out ahead.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Still, you can see Treant Living Armor is becoming a huge problem because it's now hit that level 3, and NS is rapidly approaching that level 4 Living Armor. And I think VP, the majority, or 2 of their deaths have just been on the mistakes that they've given up to Alliance, and Living Armor allows you to make more mistakes, but assuming VP just plays a bit more calmly, a bit more calculatively, then I think a lot of these deaths can actually be avoided, as here comes an engagement. Dust will not be used, as ars-art could not get in position, does not have boot speed, and they weren't able to get the gush off onto the bounty hunter regardless. Meanwhile, the Weaver on the bottom lane being pressured. Illidan gonna hide into the trees. I think it was spied out, but he's gonna get Living Armor all at the same time. There is no Sonic Wave to burst down the Weaver, so Weaver should be okay. Weaver does not yet have time lapse, but should have it up at the next wave, and not gonna be swarmed just yet, knowing that it will give up free gold, especially to the likes of Chen Creep. And he's gonna pick up level 6 pretty safely, as he secures himself a Ring of Health as well as a Band of Elven Skin. So he could potentially go for a Lincoln Sphere. I don't know what he will decide to go for in the end.
Dire's middle tower.
Meanwhile, we're going to see a rotation by Tamawad towards the bottom lane, trying to make something happen on the Queen of Pain, recognizing that he would likely get pressured on the middle lane if he were to return to that position. Likewise, Bulldog just really caught in a very awkward position on the top lane. He wants to get the track ganks going, but he doesn't want to give up the tower free, as it looks like Tamawad going to get himself pincered. S4 will break away to safety. And that might actually be a slight blessing for Tamawad in the end, since he was surrounded by a multitude of different creeps. But S4 wanted to play it safe rather than risk his life to try and pick up a Kunkka kill. Will inevitably escape in the end, and Chaos Knight was using their maneuverability to get themselves the heck out of there. So a lot of near misses in terms of ganks coming in from both teams. But overall, I'm not too sure who's benefiting from this. I guess Virtus.Pro are benefiting from this a little bit more, since Alliance do have pretty much all the levels they need, and Virtus.Pro are getting some much needed experience as a response from this lack of aggressive nature, or a lack of aggressiveness coming in from Alliance. But you can see Alliance still holding to a significant experience advantage, as VP looks like they want to fight. They're going to get the X torn off onto Loda, going to pop the Ravage, going to drop the Magic Missile onto Loda, going to drop the Leech Seed as well. Will they use the Overgrowth? Yes, they will. Will Loda actually die? Is there enough damage? Loda might actually able to escape. No, the Gush is going to be enough to pick him off, as here comes Bulldog, going to approach the Treant Protector very rapidly with help of the track, as Living Armor simply won't be enough. Treant Protector going to fall, so it's going to be a track kill in exchange for a Chaos Knight kill. Meanwhile, Chen was able to secure the kill on the Weaver in the end with his massive barrage of creep, so very much worth it for Alliance in the end, since VP used every single ultimate and they're only just able to kill off the Chaos Knight. I'm not too sure why VP decided to play so offensive. And now without those ultimates, that will leave a lot of room on the map for EGM to relocate in and perhaps get some track kills going. And Weaver died once again, so that is going to significantly slow down his farm because, of course, Treant Protector already previously died, so it couldn't pop off the living armor onto his friend. And VP, I mean, they are known to play a very aggressive style, but I don't know, against the lineup that Lions currently have, it might behoove VP to just sit back and wait around for a little bit. And I think they're going to do just that. Now you're going to see Illidan rotate himself towards the top lane, so there will be another engaging Tamal. Will find himself reality rifted as well as stunned, but Loda going to take a lot of damage. Will they have enough damage? The bow is going to come in. Will be able to clip Loda. No, Loda going to dodge the appropriate angle. Now EGM will take a bit of rest and should be okay. Actually, one more hit will be in the end of EGM. Can he actually get the tail off? No, Magic Missile will secure the kill. You know, Bounty Eric going to come in with Invisibility Rune and a double damage rune, a double damage rune, as he is able to secure the kill on Tamal. So Wisp for Kunkka, very much worth it, is now KSI going to be in a lot of trouble. Living Armor will be used on KSI to bring himself up to a decent amount of HP. Meta Spirit going to come in with the Owl of Terror as NS going to find himself stunned up. NS going to be in a lot of trouble. Will they be able to get a track off? No, they will not. But VP still coming out the losers in that engagement regardless. So VP just want to use Living Armor to just dive super aggressively. But again, against the lineup that Alliance are currently rocking, it would just be in VP's best interest to play defensively. And look at Ake's level 9 Chen. He's going to get such a fast level in that Hand of God, especially since it's difficult for VP to crank out the damage. That level 2 Hand of God and the fast mecha will just mean that Alliance's lineup will just be incredibly difficult to bring down at that stage. You know, S4 gonna likely work his way towards an Orchid. There is a Weaver on the opposite side of the map, and even if there wasn't a Weaver, I mean, Orchid is pretty strong against Tree, and I mean, it's useful against the likes of Tidehunter as long as you don't hit the Tidehunter while he's Orchided up. And S now level 7, so has that level 4 Living Armor, just going to make it a lot more difficult for Alliance to secure kills, assuming of course Virtus.Pro just don't dive in super aggressively like they have been doing. And Tamal getting some much needed free farm in the jungle, but again, jungle farm not really as significant as lane farm, and you can see Tamal struggling quite heavily. He's just not given a good lane matchup, and I don't know, Kunkka in this super aggressive paced game, I don't know if his style of play will really work out. VP gonna smoke up, looking to catch somebody out of position, but Bulldog will dispel the smoke, and Sentry Ward will be popped, but Bulldog was just running in the opposite direction. I don't think he caught wind of the Virtus.Pro smoking, but ars-art gonna roam in. Illidan will be able to spot out Ake, but Ake should be okay, as the Gush will fly in. It looks like Ake will take a bit of extra damage, as Illidan is gonna approach Ake very rapidly. Will drop the Swarm on him as well, gonna get Living Armored up. Ake gonna drop the Hand of God. Track will reveal Illidan, and Illidan gonna actually time-lapse to try to secure the kill on Ake, but now the Storm has ward off. Ake will die nonetheless, so good aggressive behavior by Weaver to dodge the track with the time-lapse, and now Virtus.Pro going to use this momentum to try to push down middle tower, but you can see Alliance on the bottom lane immediately responding by pushing themselves. Unfortunately for Alliance, they can't really relocate in to defend the middle tower since they are facing Ravage. I'm pretty sure Alliance knows that they're facing Ravage at this stage, as Treant Protector are going to back off, going to heal up, and this tower will likely fall. Chaos Knight does pick up the last hit on the bottom tower, but Weaver will secure the last hit on the middle tower. And meanwhile, the top tower taking a lot of damage. Will get Living Armed up. NS, do you have it up? He does have it up, but not choosing Living Armor just yet. It will die. So a bit of a mistake by NS. I guess he wanted to help out the heroes, but here comes the relocate gank in on Tamal as soon as he teleports himself in. Tamal is going to die. No amount of Living Armor can help him now. His move speed and the damage debuff that the bow gave him is just going to allow him to survive for so much longer. EGM! Wow, what fortuitous relocate timing. We'll be able to actually dodge the Chaos, or the Magic Missile. So it's coming out again once ahead. Or coming out once ahead in that engagement. So VP in a little bit of a deficit. I don't think they've given up too many track kills, but you can see the goal graph is still heavily in favor of Alliance. Experience graph favoring Alliance even more at this stage. I think it would just be a lot better if VP just sat back for a little bit and farmed up the Weaver as well as the Kunkka. But I mean, at this point, it would just take so long to come back. As Ravage will be dropped, but there's only a Treant Protector and a Tide Hunter, as Loda is just going to be immediately sent back home. And now these two melee heroes just going to scurry on out of there. Wow, VP, they just charged up the high ground, dropped Ravage, just said, "What's up, guys?" And then they just backed off. Really not the best usage of Ravage, as maybe VP are just feeling a little bit frustrated. I'm not too sure, but that is going to allow Wisp to relocate in. And S4 going to play so much heroic aggressively. He knows there isn't a Ravage hole in place, but still going to get killed off by the lead seed. One more hit will secure the kill as Bulldog going to get trapped in Overgrowth. EGM going to be brought down to very low HP, but he's going to constantly tether up Bulldog. KSI is tracked up, but I think the Kraken Shell didn't dispel the track in the end. Timod is tracked up as well. Treant Protector will secure the kill on Wisp in the end. ars-art going to come in. Bulldog going to be in launch hole. Warm Magic Missile will seal his fate. Swarm, it will expire since it did time out. KSI going to be in launch hole. KSI will likely get picked off in the end. X going to be dropped onto Loda. Will he be able to get the torrent off? No, the torrent just a little bit misplaced, a little bit mistiming, as Ake going to take a lot of damage. Illidan will secure the kill as Loda does get sent home. But VP going to be more than happy to take that engagement, even without the Ravage. And such is the strength of living armor. And Alliance just fought that in a very, very bad position. They said, alright, you don't have to Ravage, so we can fight you in a choke point, but there's still a boat. There's still an Overgrowth. There's a lot of layers of ultimates that you have to go through on the side of Virtus.Pro before you can really take them at a choke point successfully. And Alliance gave up a lot of their momentum as a result of that. Timod was able to make up a huge deficit. I mean, he's still very far behind in terms of levels, you can see, but was able to get a lot of experience and was able to get a lot of gold. Weaver was able to pick up a couple kills and is going to go straight into the Lincoln Sphere. Meanwhile, the spawn tower will be pressured. Tide Hunter ultimate. It's going to be up relatively soon. Tide Hunter actually secured a Vanguard, so he's actually very difficult to bring down. Going to pick up a Cloak as well, so that's what you can get when you pick up a safe lane firing Tide Hunter. You can get a lot of extra items. NS, Arcane Boots himself, ars-art, treads, as well as a magic stick. Meanwhile, Loda going to go straight into the BKB, as Illidan will be enough to defend this middle tower, and NS did heal up the living armor, or heal up the middle tower with that living armor. But you can see Alliance immediately rotating on the map to try to bring down this top tower, but it's going to get living armor done as well. Phantasm will be used by Loda, and this top tower, I don't know if it can be reinforced. There is no glyph online, so the top tower will definitely fall. EGM going to take a boat right to the chin. Not really the biggest cooldown to waste since it does have such a short cooldown. But VP want to take a fight, they might regret using the boat in that scenario, as Illidan's going to charge forward very, very bravely, and EGM does have that haste ring, luckily enough. But it seems like Alliance not too keen on taking this engagement. They know Ravage is likely up, and Ake, oh no, he is going to be caught out. The Tide Hunter will be able to spot on Ake, definitely going to die. Can he save his creeps? That's a real question. No, EGM going to allow the tether, and Illidan doesn't have enough mana to keep up the pursuit. KSI still charging forward. Man, KSI just has caught the scent. But now Ake, with the Hand of God as well as the mechanism, can heal himself up, as NS gonna get chain stunned perfectly micro by Ake as he finishes up the kill with the Test of Faith. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Timod will get picked off by S4 and Bulldog. So just craziness happening all over the map. Seems like Weaver or Tide Hunter was able to escape in the end. Did not drop the Ravage at the very least, but now up on the top lane, Vengeful Spirit could potentially be hut down, and she will most certainly die as she is just gonna hide in the woods. And track will be used. ars-art does not have a TP score, so can't even teleport herself out of there. Here comes the Wisp relocating in with the Chaos Knight, gonna get ravaged right to the face. Illidan gonna come in, but unfortunately for Illidan, he does not have that much mana. He did not secure himself the Perseverance. EGM gonna juke as best he possibly can, gonna get mech'd up as well. Wisp is gonna survive, and now VP are struggling a bit just because the mobility on the side of Alliance is absolutely tremendous. KSI gonna find himself stunned up, gonna get barraged by Chen creeps. The track gonna come in. Ake will find himself killed off. KSI can get healed up by the Living Art. The boat is gonna come in. I don't think it managed to dispel KSI as KSI just took way too much damage. The Living Art gonna be applied to the Kunkka as Loda gonna be in launch. One more wave of Shikuchi should secure the kill as Illidan's gonna charge in. Will spot out Loda. Gonna secure the kill. Man, a game of absolute craziness ensuing right now, as the Chen creeps will get slain as well. I'm not too sure who came out ahead in that engagement. I've got to think Alliance came out slightly ahead because they got a couple of track kills. And Bulldog is going to have his BKB finished, and Chaos Knight going to have his own BKB finished relatively soon. I don't imagine Alliance are going to look for too many more engagements until Loda does farm that 240 gold he needs to finish that BKB. Mecha was finished up on Ake, and now he has a lot of wards in the bank. as 4 finished the Orchid, which helped to seal the fate of Timwad in that mid lane gank. And meanwhile, Wisp Ghost Scepter finished already is just proven to be so resilient in terms of survivability. And VP, a lot of their damage does come from physical attacks, so this Ghost Scepter will just mean Wisp is going to be even more difficult to bring down. Meanwhile, VP has the Arcane Boots as well as a Wand. I don't know what Treant's saving up for. Maybe a Mecha? Maybe a Blink Dagger. Weaver now has the Perseverance finished. Is that finished Lincoln Sphere? It is going to be finished Lincoln Sphere. So now he actually has mana regeneration to sustain his Shikuchi spam. Taunter going to go straight to that Pipe of Insight. Does not yet have the Hood finished as Blog will spy KSI with his little eye, but KSI going to have the Ravage up relatively soon, and KSI being a level 11 Taunter is actually very difficult to bring down, especially with the Vanguard. Ars-art treads as well as Ward as Illidan going to run right by a Radiant Sentry Ward, but I don't think the creeps did catch out Illidan, so I don't know if Illidan does know there is a Sentry Ward in place, as we'll see if Weaver going to find himself engaged upon. There is Lincoln Sphere, so that's going to make it a lot more difficult, and Illidan will just escape that very, very unforeseen engagement. EasyGame going to get himself boated as well as tortured. The boat going to hit everybody, doing a huge amount of damage. EGM will be the first one to fall. There's goals, a lot of healing potential. S4 going to be the next one to crumble under the onslaught, but the double BKBs just going to work. Aki actually died as well. The living armor just simply too much for Bulldog, and low to penetrate. Bulldog going to be in the lot. Bulldog will get killed off, going to get Vengeful Spirit in rebuttal, but Loda going to be the sole survival as S4 actually managed to buy back. Tried to get himself back into the thick of things. Weaver was able to secure the kill on Loda in the end. A sensational teamfight being won by VP, as that was a beautiful boat torrent setup into a Ravage combination, just immediately melted down EGM, and EGM just emphasized the healing potential of his lineup so much with the tether that they were able to kill Ake shortly after.
Radiant structures are fortified.
So VP going to use this momentum, going to secure the tier 2 and look for them to immediately get the heck out of there once Cast Knight responds, since they don't have any ultimates online. But VP is starting to look very, very scary. They're going to make up a huge deficit, and S4 will be driven away successfully. You can see the goal graph starting to swing the other way. That pendulum starting to tick in the other direction. The experience graph is certainly showing that VP is making up a huge deficit, even though they are behind in terms of... No, looks like tower count is actually completely even. You know, S4 got himself X'd. Sorry I didn't catch that on the screen. I was trying to get a drink of water. And you know, my shoulder has limited mobility. But S4 just tried to jack some creeps and instead got jacked.
You've been spooled.
Man, I hate having a non-functional shoulder. It's gonna get worse next month when I get my right shoulder worked upon. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to create a massive backlog of videos to try to upload. But I mean, next month TI3 is happening, so you can watch those casts. I don't know if I'll be doing that many TI3 casts. Anyways, a really, really exciting game, as it's 29 kills in 24 minutes. Definitely a lot more action-packed than we've been seeing these days. But I mean, when you give VP a Treant, they can just dive with such impunity. And NS is now level 12, so that has that second point of overgrowth. Has been scaled up Nature's Guys as well. Interesting decision against Alexa Bounty Hunter, but I guess they can just Nature's Guys in the time to look for sneaky initiation, since Tyler did not go for the dagger. Now, Dire gonna get the middle tower pressured. It looks like it will fall, but Tyranitar has now finished his Pipe of Insight, and the tower actually gonna survive a lot longer than anticipated due to, you guessed it, living armor. You know, Treant gonna go for the mecha, gonna pop the buckler, so he's gonna give his team a lot of extra armor. And that buckler actually has a relatively short cooldown in comparison to its duration. So that buckler gonna be very, very useless. The magic missile gonna go in. We'll just simply stun a Chen creep. As here comes the mass teleports coming in from Alliance. They will be able to stun off the tree and try and prevent any living armor, but the Ravage gonna catch pretty much everybody inside Alliance. EGM will be able to relocate on out of there. The bow gonna just barely whip, but it's gonna give a huge armor or damage debuff, as NS will be the first one to die. There goes a lot of living armor charges. S4 does manage to drop a very solid Sonic Wave. Buyback coming in from NS gonna allow him to pop even more living armors. The crits from Kunkka just ripping on Lance. A new one. Ake gonna be in a lot of trouble. ars-art does secure himself the kill, and just the pure durability of Virtus.Pro allowing them to win this engagement.
Tower is under attack.
And Virtus.Pro will be able to muscle down the first barracks of the game. Even though Alliance were able to take a significant advantage, it seems the Virtus.Pro, once they got their items online, and once they got enough levels into living armor, they just overpowered Alliance's lineup, and Alliance went for a very, very aggressive lineup that, if it gets behind, even though they have a wisp, it's a bit more difficult to come back than you'd otherwise think, just because, I mean, Bounty Hunter, if he gets in a deficit, just does not become very useful. And you can see these first two BKB charges on both Bounty Hunter as well as Chaos Knight not really amounting to too much. And VP just getting a barrage of strong items. Weaver's going to finish his Desolator, so his physical attack is going to hurt a tremendous amount. Force Staff was secured by ars-art, going to allow him to swap Force Staff himself away, or just casual Force Staff out of a Tether Stun, something like that. And Tame Wild, now making up for a bit of his failings in the early game, has just been able to land these X's and Torrents consistently. Has finished the Shadow Blade, gonna get himself an Ogre Club rather than finishing the BKB, just because, hey, I have living armor and I have enough HP to survive the harassment, especially in conjunction with the Coco Rum debuff, as Lewis likes to call it. And Terror. Desolator just gonna mean that this Roshan will fall with relative ease, so VP looking in a very dominating position. Weaver will secure himself the Aegis, and that means he can go even more ham on the opposition than he otherwise was able to do. Meanwhile, Alliance, are they close to any items? S4 still far away from BKB. Ake, he's pretty much picked up everything he needs. I mean, sure, he wants a Ghost Scepter. Still, he doesn't really want to take too much jungle farm. Loda is really struggling. He has not been able to make too much item progression. No, doesn't have anything on the courier either. EGM pretty much has everything he needs as well. And Bulldog just managed to finish the Vlads, but in comparison to VP's items, it's just simply not going to be enough. And NS actually going to finish a Mecha relatively soon, so that's going to give VP even more survivability. Oh my god. This is just a massive, massive freight train barreling down your tier 2 bottom lane, and there's nothing you can do to stop it if you're Alliance currently. As VP are going to 5-man up, and usually the best way to combat this massive death ball push is a split push, but Alliance didn't go for a split pushing heavy line, they went for a ganking based lineup, and that is not going to work out. We'll see if VP can get themselves a second set of barracks. They have the Aegis online for Weaver, and KSI is so damn tanky will allow him to tank this tower with relative impunity. As Ake will drop the Silence onto Tamon. The Silence does have a relatively short cooldown, but now Tamon can pretty much get the X's and Torrents off with impunity once again, as the track going to go down to Venture Space. Radiant going to fortify their structures, and look at EGM as well as Load up on the top lane trying to force a response by VP, but VP just simply don't care. They're going to drop the boat as well as Torrent right onto S4. Ravage will follow shortly after. Bulldog going to be launched on Bulldog. Will pop the BKB, he's going to get healed up by the Hand of God. Meanwhile, Overgrowth going to hold Loda in place as he did teleport in with EGM. Seems like Tamon going to take a lot of damage. Wild will be the first one to fall. ars-art was able to secure the kill on EGM. Bulldog going to take a lot of damage. The gem just constantly revealing Bulldog's presence. Meanwhile, S4 just simply not able to do enough. Chaos Knight going to be the next one to drop towards the Desolator damage, and it seems like the Alliance are just crumbling. They were able to immediately isolate Tamon Wild, despite him being under the effects of boat. But man, Trian just so annoying. Leech Seed and a clumped up engagement like that just heals you up by such a tremendous degree. I mean, NS didn't even have the mechanism in that engagement, but the sustainability inside of Virtus.Pro gonna allow them to clean up the second set of barracks, and I don't know if Alliance can have what it takes to come back in this game.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
As VP just gonna immediately rotate themselves in. Weaver did not even lose the Aegis, and he still had full HP and full mana. Of course, some of that is deceptive from the living armor, the Leech Seed, as well as the Lincoln Sphere. Still, it just shows you in what great position VP are currently in, as S4 gonna get the Silence off onto ars-art, trying to do as much damage as possible. ars-art could potentially die, is gonna die to the Soul Burn, but now Ake gonna find himself gushed up. EGM will be able to escape with the Ghost Scepter. ars-art gonna buy back, and Virtus.Pro will just look to retreat on out of there. Temwad and ars-art are actually quickly making their way towards the lane, as NS gonna be in lot of trouble. NS being revealed, does not have the mech online, will likely die towards the Soul Burn damage, as KSI taking a lot of right clicks from that massive axe of the Chaos Knight. But NS gonna come back in with the Overgrowth going. Everybody inside of Alliance in place. Kunkka gonna come in with a huge boat as well as a huge Torrent and Cleave. Queen of Pain gonna back, but I think Alliance are done. They're gonna call GG, well played. And VP with a really, really strong early phase of the mid game was able to overpower Alliance in the end. They got everything they need and they just bulldozed down Alliance. So Alliance, we'll see if they can recover in game 2, but I will be casting this whole series. Hopefully you'll stay tuned and watch it, because I think this is a pretty exciting series, at least from what I've been told from some friends. But yep, VP looking very, very strong in that game. Just had great communication, and even if VP's game plan isn't always the best, even if they play a bit too aggressively, their communication is some of the best in Dota, I've got to imagine. But they've just got to work on some of their decision making. But the communications, once their team fights started rolling in, all the abilities would perfectly change. So VP executed their lineup to a pretty strong state. I mean, I think they were a bit too aggressive in the early stages of the game, but after that, their aggressive nature just allowed them to steamroll Alliance to victory. Meanwhile, Alliance, they picked a lineup that was designed to get very far ahead before Tree and Army became a huge problem. Unfortunately, they couldn't get far ahead enough, and their lack of flash farming means they couldn't split push against the death ball that VP was currently concocting. So Alliance, in the end, their draft did not work out. Even though they played pretty solidly, they did crumble. So hopefully you enjoyed that game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time for game 2. Peace.